other options? Huh. Alright. So City of Heroes came out in 2004, so it's an old ass game. But one that I probably find the most timeless. Like, it's aged well. So you'll probably first notice the graphics aren't necessarily the best. They're still kind of old comic book style, blocky, but yeah. So I pretty much have 4 characters at the moment. They're a family, Mr. Descents, Miss Descents, and then their children, who I'm still trying to figure out the lore behind all of it, but either way, it's a great new character. So the character creation alone, dude, is pretty intense. So you choose between either being a city or, a hero or a villain from the beginning, or you can start off by being rogue, which means you have alliance to neither, and you can kind of choose to be a villain or choose to be a hero later on. It's kind of like Knights of the Old Republic, and you know, it's based on your choices that you make. So once you choose what you want to do, then you choose like the origin of your powers. So either it's mutation like the X-Men, or like magic, technology, or it's just natural ability. This is mostly for like your own personal lore, and you do get some skills based off of these archetypes, but it's not going to drastically affect your character. And then you kind of choose what you want to do. These are kind of high level play styles that aren't really specific to your characters. So like, for example, melee gives you an option between certain archetypes, but so does tank. They'll give you, you know, some of the same options like tanker, like support. Like, so they kind of overlap. They're not exclusive. Like Mastermind's considered a support. It's also considered a pet class. So this, I think, was just put here to help onboard new players who were kind of confused on what they wanted to do, because the character creation is super intense. So like, let's do pets, for example. Mastermind is a character type that can control and summon different pets and control each pet individually. Like, it's pretty intense. It's actually the only MMO I found that has a class like this. So for example, you always choose a primary power and a secondary power. Demon summoning, mercenaries, you can summon like thugs, you can summon zombies, you can summon ninjas to fight with you, robots. Oh, I thought, what's the difference between mercenaries and thugs? Oh, I guess they're more like, yeah, dedicated soldiers. You can summon animals, so like, it's a crazy amount of things you can do with Mastermind. Controllers is probably my favorite, because they're mostly crowd control. So controller, dominators, controller and dominator are probably my 2 favorite. And it just kind of gives you stats on what's the difference between them. So this is where it gets intense. Again, like, there's a lot of different skills. And you first start by choosing like, let's choose gravity control. Choose one skill from the tree at first, and then your secondary power. And there's a lot. I mean, from force fields to kinetics, which is controlling kinetic energy, to natural affinity, pain domination, which is like controlling the level of pain that you or your opponents feel or don't feel, poison, radiation, sonic energy, storm summoning, time manipulation. I mean, like, it's just so many skills, and this is just like the first and second trees you choose. You're gonna eventually have other trees that you tap into when you're leveling up your character. So let's choose force fields, for example. And the character creator alone is just intense. I'm not gonna go into all of this because I think it's just way too much. It takes it could take you hours to create a character. Let's see, random. So like, this just gives you an idea of the level of possibilities. Yeah, I mean, you can just keep clicking this button all day. But let's see. I get like a. Oh, here we go. Cool. Always make a black guy or girl. Why not? We need more of them in games. So you can link your colors or not. Which is pretty much how I start. I usually start with just blank and make my way through. I mean, there's just so many different presets you can choose from, or if you want to just start bare and go from there. Again, like the level of customization is insane. I mean, you can have a beast head and like different types of beast heads. You can have piranha head. Jeez, this is intense. Full helmet. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And it gets even into choosing your capes. So, and the physics engine, I think, in this game is really cool. I really enjoy it. Even like brooches, I don't know if you know what a brooch is, but like certain heroes have like a little emblem that attaches to their capes. To the type of cape, it could be a short cape, a long one. There's just so much. And then auras, you can kind of get into like what kind of power effects. You can control the colors for everything, by the way, so it's intense. You can have bats flying around you, battle fury. I mean, like, it takes me usually hours to create one character because there's just so much you can do. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen this one. Huh. And what's cool about this too is that you can actually apply these powers to a certain area of your. So let's do fireflies for example, because that one's really cool. It's one of my favorites. So fireflies is a really cool effect, but you can apply this power to any part of your character's body as well. So either it's in your eyes, it's only on your hair, your head, your fist. It could be only your fist and head. You could be your fist while only in combat, so that's another thing. So like only when you start to fight will your effects kick in. So there's a lot of control over how these effects you know, start to look on your character. But again, I won't go into all this. It would take you hours to make a character. What's also cool is you can control the color and visuals of your powers. So again, I'm gravity control. You can literally go into every single power and control the effects. Yeah, and this is, again, not going to be all the powers that you have in the game. You're going to unlock more powers. And you can choose like your animations you want your character to have as well. Same thing with your secondary powers. So we chose force fields. You can choose the color of your force fields. And I had that effect come on when I start to use my powers. So yeah, there's some good stuff here, man. And again, like, there's a lot of different play styles. So like Scrapper, for example, is one of my favorite classes. You can choose weapons or electric, fighting with electric energy, fighting with dark energy, dual blades, kinetic, fighting with your mind, so kind of like a Psylocke looking deal. Show you this, because when you choose a weapon, you can actually choose what kind of weapon you want. and then the type of animations you want with your weapons. So, and this is just character creation, you know, like this is not even like, I mean, for a game that came out in 2004, I'm just really impressed with how timeless this feels. So anyway, create your character. Let's see, which one do I want to show? Mr. Essence is always a fun one. These graphics are so... I feel like they, even in 2019, I feel like the fact that they made them kind of comic book style makes it not so bad. Oh, I gotta leave out of here. I hope I don't die from this, because I'm only level 7. Cool. Okay, so you create a bio for your characters as well. So whenever another player looks at my character, they read this. And this is what I was talking about with kind of like figuring out what my character's lore is. Essentially, he is a magician that lost both of his legs due to an alien invasion that kind of like abducted him and tortured him, dismembered him, and performed different experiments on him. And he woke up without his legs, the lower half of his body. So he doesn't really have the ability to use full body magic anymore. So instead, he just uses his left arm for defense magic, which he generates a magic shield. And then, and again, I like created the visuals of my powers, and then uses his right hand for offensive magic. So let me show an example of that. Oh, and the fact that he has robotic legs allows me to run a lot faster. Oh, here's some people. So it is still tab targeting, but it feels kind of action-y. But it's still an older MMO. Like, it's not a Guild Wars by any means, but once you get a lot of skills, it will start to feel a lot more fluid. So these skills and the way powers work are pretty interesting. Think of them almost like toggles. Like, this is my shield, right? I can toggle it on and toggle it off. It's almost like equipping your shield in other games, but it's set to a skill slot. Same thing with Ninja Run. Ninja Run itself is a skill that allows me to run faster. I also have Super Speed, which allows me to run super fast. And this will get better over time as well. Let's go to where the main heroes are. So there's a bunch of heroes that kind of always hang out in the city. I like looking at other characters in the game because people have really creative ideas. Like, this is a guy who I see often, and they're from a supergroup called the Wonders, and their whole supergroup is based off like old 1940s, 1950s, 60s heroes, which is why they look like Watchmen style. But yeah, they roleplay a lot, and if you look at their profiles, here we go. Everyone kind of like tags themselves with like RP, and then has like a backstory on where their character came from, what their powers are. So this girl has a lot of powers. She has Pain Domination as primary, Radiation as secondary, Flight, Super Speed, Mace Mastery, Leadership, and like a whole bunch of bonuses that she accrued. So that just shows you like how intense your character can get. Let me show you what it's like to train up your levels. This is kind of like how you start to like dip into other powers. So here's my primary kinetic melee, here's my secondary shield, and then I already started super speed, which gives me some other skills in super speed as well. You know, like spinning really quickly to make a tornado, you know, running at the speed of sound, stuff like that. Then you can also choose other things like concealment, flight. Concealment's like going invisible, stealth, or phasing into a different dimension. Fighting, if you want to like learn boxing and kicking and dodging. Leadership, leaping, super jump, kind of like the Hulk. Medicine, presence, sorcery, teleportation. I mean, there's just so much stuff you can do. You can teleport enemies, you can teleport your friends, you can teleport a whole team. Actually, I'm gonna try this skill. That is good. Okay, cool. He's trying to run. Can't run, dude. I really like the physics in this game because the ragdoll effects are pretty fun, especially if you have powers like gravity control or mind control. Actually, that would be good to show you my higher level character because I can do shit like that. Because yeah, it's fun to like throw bodies around. I feel like characters in this game actually have like a nice offsetting balance to each other in a party. So like, for example, if you're a crowd controller like I like to play, your role is to actually control the crowd. And I'll show you what I mean. Like there's some powers that are strictly like utilizing just like utility powers, like just I need to move these two enemies apart from each other because they may power each other up. Maybe they have powers that, you know, enhance each other. So if I can separate them from each other, then that's good. Yeah. All right. So this is my character, my main. Oh, I got food. Give me just a second here. Let me go AFK really quickly. Gotta go downstairs and get this food. So in the meantime, I'll make you stare at my character. Be right back. Okay. Here we go. Alright. So, this character is level 26, so he's a lot more powerful. I have a little bit more skills. Mostly just kind of dabbled into the flight tree. So I have group fly, hover, and then regular flying. I have mind control and dark assault. Kind of like dark magic. So this is essentially the son of my other character. And group flight is, again, one of those utility skills, like in case there's other people in your party who can't fly, and you're doing a mission that requires you know, like everyone to fly. And for example, I can cast like group flight, which means like everyone around me can fly with me. Basically everyone who touches this area of effect can fly with me. And so there's a lot of like utility skills like that in the game. And then hover would be like a slower, more like better for like inside missions when you're like in buildings doing stuff like that, and you don't need to fly as fast. So yeah, my powers are like yellow on this character. See if I can demonstrate some of the physics. Find some of these little thugs. So you kind of like do missions by like completing, like finding contacts around the city and like chiming into the radio missions. So like this is almost like police scanners. Think of it that way. Like you're actually a superhero that's listening to police scanners, like Spider-Man would, to like find where crimes are happening around you. Another player. Oh, he does time control. He's running away. Let's see. I also like the fact that this MMO is one of the first MMOs with combat that was more dynamic. Like I feel like Guild Wars and things, you're kind of stuck on the ground at all times, and so there's not really like vertical, like air combat. Like you can actually fly and have fights like all the way up here, especially during PvP. I mean, like there's people like literally fighting in all directions, aerial to underground. I mean, like there's an intense level, you know, diversity here. Here we go. Some enemies. So it's Robin. Girl. So I have a power called telekinesis, for example, that allows me to control, I basically lift and control an enemy or multiple enemies. So like this is again like one of those displacing skills. Like if I wanted to, I can like literally like move this person depending on where my camera is like targeted. So these kind of skills definitely help for certain missions that require it. These are like super easy guys to fight. I have mind control, so I can pretty much like hypnotize people or control their minds. I can control a little bit of gravity as well. So again, the physics system is just like throw bodies. Oh shit, I forgot about this guy. So yeah, oh, inspiration. So these, instead of picking up like items during missions, you pick up like inspirations and enhancements. And inspirations, think of them as like power-ups you use in the middle of the battle. So like this could, you know, give you more mana, this gives you more life, there's some for power. It's almost like instead of getting loot, you get like extra power-ups, which makes the game feel more like an action combat. I love the ragdoll effects. Yeah, all my characters kind of suck, to be honest. I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to play and spend the most time on. Oh, and also when he's in combat, he has this like magic armor, which is pretty cool. Again, these are like all things you can control and customize, and I just haven't found an MMO that does the same things. Like, I mean, yes, you can dye your armor in Guild Wars, but you can't like make the armor have certain effects, like in and out of combat, or I mean, it's just insane the things you can do. You can also like, so like, you know that skill I had, Ninja Run, there's Beast Run where you can run on all fours, there's Jetpack Run where in case your character doesn't have powers and they need, it's almost like in My Hero Academia, like the students who kind of create items that help your character with their powers. There's the same concept in this game as well. So this is Miss Essence, who's one of my ninja characters who controls water, and so I think, yeah, my powers are water and ninjutsu, I think. Yeah, water and ninjutsu. And speed, so far. So ninjutsu allows me to just be like stealthy and invasive. So like, and then she controls water like a water bender maybe. She's only level 14, so she's weak. There's 50 levels in the game. These are all easy, guys. I feel like streaming is making my game super laggy. Especially when you get into the city with all these people, players. There's a lot of special effects in this game. I mean, it's just like everyone controls the effects of their characters, so like, oh man, that guy looks really cool. I just love the diversity of characters in the game. Yeah, it's a really RP friendly, lore intensive MMO. I like the missions. I like that the missions feel like you're actually helping the people in the city that you're in, because the maps are huge and each zone is basically a different city that you go to that needs, you know, saving or certain help. And I just like that they're very creative with how they. Oh, and at any time you can come in and change like the color of your powers. Like maybe I wanted them to be like red water blast. I don't know if I'm shooting blood at people, but like, you know, you can. This is not set at character creation. You can change this at any time. Yeah, I would love to play with you and join a supergroup. Supergroups are pretty cool, which are basically the equivalent of guilds in this game. You create a base, or you can make a base called a super base, and you actually design it. So there's map creation and like mission creation. So once you get a higher level, like level 50, players can create their own missions and their own stories that other players can go on. So let's say you had a really cool idea based around your character who's from a certain planet, and you wanted to make a mission where every one from that planet is like invading Earth, you could like actually create your own, you know, missions, your own mobs, your own boss battles, everything for players to play. So like the content is kind of endless. It's not really focused on just the developers making stories or living worlds that you're living in. It's actually players making player created content. It's the end game. Which everything just feels like, oh, that girl looks cool. Everything feels like player created content, which I appreciate. Born in 1997, jeez. I guess people are born in the late 90s that are grown, but that's just weird. Anyway, I think my PC is lagging, I'm hungry, and I gotta get ready to go, so if you want to see more, just let me know. It's a pretty fun game. I don't feel like the graphics have, you know, looked that shitty after being from 2004, but it's a game that I can still play. I get on the car. Oh, I love how the AI cars try and dodge you. Buggy. Like if I were to just stand here, it's gonna drive. Oh, I guess it's not. Oh yeah. Usually they try and dodge you.